Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's new episode. My goodness, I'm already choking myself out of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and my goodness, we have an incredible show for you today. We're still waiting for two of our panel members. Dreadpool he might miss it and he might be late. He had to go into work, and we're still waiting for our chainsword wielding panel member. But you know what? Before we get into the topics, and we have quite a few really good things to talk about. Today, we're going to be talking about Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, what we thought of the trailer, the Collector's Edition, which I hope everyone ordered because I certainly did. We're going to be talking some Battlefield 6 news, which is really interesting because obviously, you know, depending on what side of the coin you fell on, the last two Battlefields did not hit with a lot of people because they were back in World War I and World War II. We want something modern, and it looks like the fans and the outcry has paid off and that we're going to get it. We're going to be talking some Destruction All-Stars, getting the feel or the temperature of the room. I happen to think it's quite impressive. I think more so that it was added to PlayStation Plus. I think that's a big deal, and I'm quite enjoying it. And we're going to be talking some subtopics. That are going to be a part of the conversation. But before we do that, let's get into our special guest here, making his return appearance. You know him from the weekly show with our very good friend Gaming Forte, and he's also a part of Bracement Radio Arcade Podcast. Please welcome back Slow-Mo Backslap. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? What's up, panel and chat? Hope you guys having a great morning. I know I am. I got my coffee here. I'm ready to go with these topics that I am 1000% fully engaged in every single one of them. You know, it's funny because like every time I'm on Breakfast with Boom, we always got like a topic I'm so like over invested in, but then it's like every now and again you guys talk about like Resident Evil, and I'm just like, yo, I don't care about Resident Evil. But no, like,
you're gonna sign the contract and join.
Yes, I think so.
He's gonna join this contract.
Not like Resident Evil.
You're gonna sign that contract when we get to Resident Evil 8, sir.
No, I'm not trying to trigger nobody today, so I'm just gonna keep my opinions of Resident Evil to myself. All I will say though is, yeah, like Boom has put together a Avengers level, Justice League level group of topics today, and I can't wait to do it, man.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Definitely going to have a lot of fun. Obviously, we're also going to be adding to the conversation the Division 2 update that launched this week. 60 frames per second, folks. And I got to tell you, I am a huge Division fan. Loved 1. I enjoy 2. I don't love it as much. But the Resident Evil crossover is kind of dope. I mean, again, if you're a fan of both, which I am, a diehard fan of both, to see your character dressed up as Leon S. Kennedy is pretty crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So it was cosmetic only. It wasn't.
It wasn't like an actual.
Dude, I had high hopes. I thought they were going to do something different, like the Dark Zone, have zombies.
I was hoping that. And that's funny. I wrote a tweet. I put out there that I'm hoping that this turns into potentially using the flu, the dollar flu. Virus to be mutated and have zombies. I know that a couple of years ago, someone did a mock-up trailer of zombies in the Division, and my God, I watched that trailer about 100 times. I was like, that has to be real. So, I mean, right now it's cosmetic. You never know. You just never know that a big update could come, and you know, it would be pretty cool if like a transmission came in from, let's say, Liberty Island or something like that, or one of the other states that you were being sent in to find a rogue agent, and it turns out that there's zombies there. I'm hoping that they go the extra mile because that would be kind of dope.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't even be that big of a stretch if you think
it really
about
wouldn't.
It.
Yeah, you literally changed
the Master Division fan, and you know, it's just by thinking about what's going on right now in the world with pandemics and viruses.
Yes,
the COVID thing. There's different strains that keep being developed, and like, oh, there's a different strain here in Africa. There's a different one coming to the UK, and they end up getting over to the United States, and it really. You know, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch of imagination that this dollar flu that seemed to have killed so many people in that Division universe, you know, mutated, and maybe these bodies start reanimating. If you think about how in New York in the Division 1, how there was just body bags and body bags of bodies just stored all over the place. Central Park is just mountains of body bags of bodies. Just imagine if all that got reanimated or something. That would just be they can make it a mode or something, like a horde mode or whatever. I think it would definitely work. The game needs something. If I know your brother Neo is still investing in it.
Yeah.
They haven't really given us a roadmap of what they're doing for the game for the rest of its duration, or at least for this year. They do have these seasonal events called manhunts that they've been doing, but they're coming to an end because the current one going right now, the leader who I'm not going to reveal who it is, but someone who betrayed the division is running it, and that person is the last person that you take down, and that current event is going now. So I think that will be ending in like a week or two. So after that, like, they haven't done a state of the game to explain what else is happening or what are you doing going forward in a while. So I'm thinking maybe next week or the week after, they'll have a state of the game to say, hey, look, this is what's happening. We're probably not going to do anything else until we come out with a Division 3, or here's what year 3 Division 2 is going to be like. Something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that game, I think, like, that franchise, done says never. It's done. I'm gonna tell you why. Then
Star Wars.
Star Wars, and I think this pandemic kind of killed any pandemic-ish stories. I know. Like, I love Division 1. I love Division 2. I know anything that has a disease in it now, I'm like, I think I'm good. And not. And here's the thing: it's not because I'm like, I don't want to relive it. It's just like, I'm like, nah, that's inaccurate.
You're just over it. Over it.
Exactly. I'm like, no, the government is too incompetent there. That would never happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's scary how close to what really happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not obviously as big. We don't have the streets littered with garbage and bodies, thank God.
But if the dollar flu really happened, or like last year, the way our responses was with COVID, man,
exactly.
we'd be in so much trouble.
Oh yeah. We're effed with a capital F, yeah.
Yeah, no. Hey, speak of the devil, my brother Neo Mental drops an outstanding and very generous $20 super chat. He says, infected people would be the biggest thing to happen to the division. It would give a reason for bullet sponges. There you go, and open up the game for bigger raids and enemies. I need more division. Is down but not out. Yeah. You know what? I agree. I think that there is still something special here. Look, we have to understand, and I'm going to get to the introductions. And we turned this into a division conversation, so I want to keep going with it. But this is a game that could see a revival if a major change comes. And the same way that there are Rikers running around, and the same way that there are oh my God, I forgot some of the names of the bad guys, the firefighters running around, they could easily replace those character models with zombies. And I don't see what would be the big deal. I think that it would give. I mean, again, Joe, I hear you what you're saying about the. I'm done with the pandemic, and obviously we're still dealing with it, so it would be a tough sell. But I think that they could do something different. BitCloud, first of all, welcome to the program, BitCloud. We missed you last week. We're going to be talking some Sony PlayStation. I got a running theory about Returnal, and we're going to get into that when we start talking Destruction All-Stars. But are you a Division fan?
I played the first one. I did not play the second one, but first one I thought had potential. Definitely got a lot of potential. Second one, still kind of wanted to get it. I just never got around to doing it because my backlog was ridiculous. So
yeah, I mean, look, I will say this: the game is massive. I personally didn't enjoy it as much as I mean, I had fun.
You just got
and I'm
bored
playing it
kind of
now.
with the activities, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know whether it was the Washington setting. I don't know if, because they did add a lot of activities. Like, they have like, there's manhunts, there's all kinds of things you can do. So there is more to do here. I just don't know.
It just felt like an incomplete game to me in the first one a bit, like with the Dark Zones. It felt like they didn't really fully thought it out. Am I the one who feels that way?
You know what? I will say this.
Felt weird.
What I enjoyed about the first one was a lot of the armor perks that you could find and get. Like, for instance, I'm a big fan, and I think Sloma knows this, of me. I used to have Firecrest as my main full set, because obviously I was into the whole fire thing, and I love the fire rounds, and I like the fire grenades, and I just thought it brought, being able to make your character how you wanted. I kind of feel was taken away for 2. That's just my opinion. I just don't find the armors as exciting to find and build as I did in the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think you, if you ever get a chance to play it, you definitely should. Joe, let's go to you. First of all, welcome back. Yesterday we had a killer episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I think we knocked it out of the park. Welcome to Breakfast with Boom. For you, The Division. It's 60 frames per second. I know that you're a little over it, but I got to tell you, man, it runs so smooth at 60 right now. Yeah. It is definitely worth checking out if you're a fan.
Kyle and I was talking on this on the trophy room. It's funny when products like or get announced and like the marketing for it, like for example, like the Xbox Series S or X was just like and the PS5 are all like about ray tracing this, ray tracing that. All these reflections is going to be bonkers, and it seems like in the first couple of months, it really seems like, for the most part, I may be the only one of people don't give a shit about ray tracing. People really care about 60 FPS.
Yes.
Like in the grand scheme of things, people rather have the 60 FPS than having, reflections and puddles. I'm like the only person that's just like, give me all those reflections. It's really beautiful looking. But yeah, like 60 FPS for that game is a big deal. I love the first game. I enjoyed a lot of the second game. I just didn't have enough people with me. My question, does it have crossplay yet or no?
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it does. No,
it really does need it though.
Hopefully it does. Yeah, and hopefully
me and Slomo warned you guys though. Once you go 60, you don't go back.
I am telling you, you can't go back.
You can't go back. I'm telling you,
because my co-host Kyle, he's like he played most of Spider-Man in the graphical fidelity mode. And then he's like, Joe, I flipped the switch to 60 just to see how it felt. And I can't go to any other game that's like not 60. Like, we got a question coming in this week of like, why do all games like now seem sluggish? It's just like we didn't understand why 60 was so important,
Yeah. It's funny because like Kyle, dude, I actually played the entire campaign, and again, I'm one trophy away from the platinum.
Nice
of Miles Morales, and I played it in the high fidelity mode. Like, I wanted I'm a bit of a graphics score, so I didn't care so much about the 60 frames. But I will say this: the minute I put on The Division, and I started watching the movement and getting out of cover and rolling around and dropping my turret and throwing up my drone, I was like, wow, this is crazy that it's running this good.
Real talk, Insomniac being, I'm now officially an Insomniac fanboy. Having a fidelity ray tracing mode where it's like still 4K, so it'll give you some of the reflections, but it'll still be at 60. Fantastic.
That needs to be like the sweet spot for all first party games. I think
it's in my club of Insomniac's PlayStation's best studio. It sounds like you're coming around. When I first said that last year, some people were like, "Yeah, I don't know about that, bro." But now,
I was right there with you. I'm like, "Yeah, no, I get it," because like it prints the cash and they make some fantastic games. I'll give you set over.
They put out quality titles and a lot of quality titles. Like when Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica take 5 or 6 years to make one game, they've already put out 3. And all 3 were really, really, really good games.
Exactly.
Like that level of quantity yet quality, you can't really match that in many other places.
Did you beat Mouse? You beat Mouse, right?
Yeah, I platinumed it.
Let me tell you something. That sequel, oh my god, that sequel was gonna be incredible. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I so agree. Boom, the one trophy you need, is it the one where you gotta get 100 hits?
Yes,
throughout? Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy.
Joe told me how to do it.
Combo.
To lower the difficulty down all the way, and you don't lose the combo. I just haven't gotten back to it.
No, I think the bigger issue is that, like, you got to find a part of the game where you get enough enemies, or that they just keep spawning to allow you to get up. Because I had a problem getting that trophy simply because I was trying it in areas where the enemies would just, like, they will all be incapacitated.
Yeah. You got to go to a hideout. Like, that's the
either a hideout or
you can do the
one there's a training mission from Peter, and it's the one where you have to get perfect hit.
You can't get hit by the dummies. If you get hit by the dummies, you lose or something.
If you get hit one time by the holograms, then you lose the challenge. It's that one. You have to make sure. Although no, I think it's like maybe 3 hits and you lose. But
it is 3 hits. Yeah.
But that one, there are enough enemies that come at you where if you don't get hit at all and you get the gold trophy, then you're going to get that it's going to be 100 hits without being touched. So you'll be good with that one. I think it takes place somewhere on the east side of New York of the map. I can't quite remember exactly, but yeah, that's the one I used. I got that. That was my final trophy to get the platinum too.
Yeah, that's the last one. I'm missing 2, the platinum, and of course that particular one. Real quick, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. You know him as one of the good guys of the community. Enrique drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Hey, Boom and panel, salute." Well, salute to you, brother. Hopefully you are well. Oh, he drops a second one for $2, and of course. He says PC Master Race, 120 frames per second, BitCloud slow-mo, you know.
Yeah, me and slow-mo, we run into each other all the time playing Road Company. We play on PC. And
100 and 100. I get Road Company plays on my rig at 150 frames per second.
Jesus,
I get it. Yeah, I get it up there running at 4K, but I usually drop it to 1440 to get like the 150. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. 140. I play most of my, even though I got a 4K monitor and a 1440p monitor, I play most of my games on my 1440p monitor because then with my graphics card, I'm definitely going to have an easier time hitting over 120 frames per second. So
that's unbelievable.
I run Microsoft Word on my PC at a full 200 frames.
Look at you. Look at you.
Oh man.
I don't like to brag. I got the Adobe Suite as well, you know.
Frames per second.
Those panels go by. You should see, dude. You should see Clippy in 8K. That's when you're really gonna see some.
Oh no, look out.
I highly recommend you try that game though. Boom. I think you'll like it.
Road Company?
It's really good.
Yeah, Road Company's great. It just came out with a battle pass.
It definitely looks like a lot of fun for sure. But you know, let's segue over to let's talk Destruction All Stars for a second, because obviously this game came out and it was originally announced as a $70 title. I had reserved it because like when you buy a new console, you want new games. I mean, that's always been my bag, right? Mm-hmm. And then it got delayed, and then of course, we found out that it was going into a PlayStation Plus, which I think is a big deal. Now, depending on who you ask, there are some people like myself and my friend Jada the Destroyer who absolutely love it. I think that there's something here. It's really mindless, simple fun. I think that the combination of Fortnite meets Twisted Metal, to some extent, because obviously it's more of destruction derby than it is packing you picking a vehicle that has weapons you want to use. So it's really just destruction derby meets Fortnite. but it still reminds me of Twisted Metal because there's characters. There's different characters that you can pick. I think there's 16 of them, and they're all wacky. They're all like really off the wall wacky, and it's what you would get in Fortnite. And again, I'm not the biggest Fortnite fan, but I have been playing recently because of all of the cultural characters that they've been added, like Snake Eyes and the Predator and all these other different characters. And I'll buy them. I'll keep buying them, but here's the thing. One of the, I think, issues that jumps right off the page is the modes. There just not enough of them. And there's not enough of the arenas. Now, I think that there's a good reason why. I think Sony, if they would have put this out at $70, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have bought this game. I think it would have immediately been discounted. I don't think anyone would be playing. Obviously, there's an online mode. Of course, if you like playing online, it's there for you. But Joe, let's go to you first on this. Destruction. It's a game, maybe not for everyone. Some people are going to really dig it. I think that it's good if you want to just throw it on, play 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe get a trophy or two. Does this have the legs that Sony might be looking for to, get online multiplayer games onto the PlayStation that are their own, not third party?
Probably not. Like, truthfully, they say that, this is the PlayStation Plus game till April. So that price is going to go up. I'm hoping that in March, they're like, you know what? It's just a PlayStation Plus game forever. Because it's not, Kyle and I were talking about it on the show. It is not worth 70 at all. I don't even think you'd lower that.
So is it PlayStation Plus limited?
Yeah.
It's limited. Yeah, they said it's limited. It's going to go up.
Now you see, now my opinion might have not changed.
Yeah. So your opinion is going to drop significantly in the years to come.
Yeah.
For it.
So when I think of Destruction All-Stars, this is a game that needs to be permanently on the PlayStation Plus catalog because it does give people the game's good enough to try out. The game's not good enough for a $70 full retail game. And they say they're supporting it right now. They have a year roadmap for the game, and I'm thinking that's probably all they got. Because what's there is a shallow experience. Like what's there isn't, as much as I'm enjoying it just like what did I say prior? I enjoy like Kong Skull Island. Like it's a really fun experience, but at the end of the day, I know what this thing is. Right. And it's something that I'll probably give up by the end of the month. And that's a thing that I think they need to fix, because I think the combat's too sporadic. It's too precision based, whereas you're missing constantly.
Yes,
and so
that's one of the biggest problems I have with it. Sure.
Yeah, and so and the problem is that listen, you should be missing, but you should have a quicker recovery. The maps need to be cut in half, the way I see it, or a third, to get people back in the fight faster. Because there's often times where there's just this lull in between, or you can't find a car to jump back in it, and you're just kind of there. PlayStation's not typically great at multiplayer, and I think this kind of shows it. I think they saw Rocket League and they're like, oh shit, we could try to do something like that. And have it in the portfolio, just like with the Predator game from last year. Oftentimes I feel like Sony looks at multiplayer games going, oh, we don't have one of these in our portfolio. Let's see what we can do. And it's always kind of haphazard. And that's what kind of this game feels like. So, is it worth 70? No. Is it worth you going on your PlayStation app right now, whether you have a PS5 or not? Go on your PlayStation app and download it for free to try out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this game that they can fix, but there's also some things in here that if they make some balance changes too, they could fix. I just don't think the reality of the situation is that they could fix these problems. And at the end of the day, these are the launch games, right? So when people are like, oh, why are the next gen games not hitting as well? If people look at Medium or they take a look at this game's Metacritic, this is typically the first year of exclusives. So I would say don't worry about it. Things are gonna look good. We still got Ratchet and Clank Horizon Returnal to look forward to. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
Deathloop, you know.
yeah. So did it hit for me? Yes and no. It's got its issues. I don't know if it could fulfill it. One thing I will say though, at the end of the day, one thing I do like is the diversity of the portfolio. Like all these characters have their unique, different art, not just say art style, but characteristics to each of them, which is really cool. Like I'm playing as this girl with prosthetic legs. I think they call them what did Kyle say? I think they call them blades for
yes.
feet.
That's exactly what they're called.
Yeah, she's cool as hell. There's like a French rocker dude who's like awesome as hell. Like I love the character designs. There's just something missing in the overall gameplay that it like we
It's
were talking
kind of
about.
like Titanfall all over again. You think about it. Remember how Titanfall 1 was just like this?
Yes.
It didn't have as many modes. That's pretty much what it is. It's Titanfall.
But Titanfall was fucking amazing. And
I actually like
that's
Titanfall
true.
1
That's
way
true.
better than 2 in
But
regards to
you know what I'm
multiplayer.
saying? Like it just doesn't have like the must have modes for
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely for sure. You know what, Bicco, let's get your opinion on it. Obviously, listen, whether you consider it, not you, but whether a gamer, the PlayStation fan base thinks it's a big game or not, it's an exclusive PlayStation 5 game. I think that's important to for the conversation. Is it a $70 purchase? No. I see now. Again, honestly, I didn't know that it was timed. PlayStation Plus. I think that is a terrible, terrible mistake because I understand the ideology. Get people to play this game. They download. It's like, oh, this is pretty good. It's kind of like Fortnite meets, Destruction or Derby or Twisted Metal I like this character and I can buy some coins for it and get some, new skins or whatever.
right.
But to leave it is where I think that the conversation has to go. To pull it and expect people to drop. Listen, even if this was $50, after playing what I've played, would I pay $50 for it? You know what I'm saying? I think it would be a mistake. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I mean, again, I'm surprised, like you, that it would leave PlayStation Plus in general in April, but especially considering the fact that they have Rocket League still free for PlayStation Plus, and you have games like Warframe still there. Which is, again, I don't understand why they would do this. But again, going back to this, I've said this before numerous times. I was trying to warn people ahead of time, right? When you up the price of games to $70, everybody's going to look at the game completely different. They're not going to look at it like they would a traditional $60 game. They're going to look at it and go, okay, what is so good about this game that warrants an extra $10 to it? You see what I'm saying? They're going to look at it even more. And we just went over. Not only do they not have that many game modes in this game, it's pretty basic for the most part. It's pretty basic. And this is what I said before again. Like this even goes to Returnal. I have nothing bad really against the game. Like visually, it looks amazing. But I don't know anything about Returnal, and I'm pretty sure if I was to ask you guys, do y'all know anything about the story? Y'all probably will. I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about this, and that's where I'm at with this game. I don't. I said it before. Like I don't see the hype behind Destruction All Stars, but I'll try it. First, if it was free, I might try it. But after seeing it, it's just not for me. It's really not for me.
Again, it's a game. Listen, it's a really good looking game. I'm going to tell you that the graphics on it are pretty dope. I'm not going to lie. I honestly played for about maybe 2 or 3 hours so far. I have not seen any clipping, any glitching at all. It looks and plays pretty freaking solid. It's just very limited.
And honestly, to go on like what Bit was saying there, leading up to this game, PlayStation absolutely knew, and this is why it's on PlayStation Plus, that this game was going to bomb. Like they saw those pre-order numbers, they saw that the game wasn't completely ready yet, and they're like, okay, let's throw this on Plus and see where it falls. And I think they're seeing where it falls right now. So
yeah,
I don't know.
To the people who are pushing narratives, because me and Mr. Babbitt, we've seen a lot of this. We're PlayStation guys. we know both sides of the spectrum when it comes to it, right? Obviously, everybody makes fun of the Game Pass model. Listen, looking at the situation with this particular game, I just find it a little ironic that I saw people legit trying to justify $70, saying, "Oh, this game is going to be blah blah blah. It offers this, that, and the third," and now the Metacritics and all that stuff's out. Oh, now the game, they're quote unquote having fun with this game. Why can't we give that same energy to Xbox?
Yep. Like if the medium isn't for you, it's not for me.
It's not for me. Yeah.
Why first off, why the fuck do I care about its Metacritic if I'm not interested in the game in the first place? And in the second place too, like, yeah, keep that energy. If it's a 6, demand better, at the same exact time, the question is, like, does PlayStation have the cachet that they could burn on a dub or a dud? Probably, yeah, and that's why people kind of give it more of the benefit of the doubt. But like, still, like, it's right now kind of subpar. And
yeah, sugarcoating the game never helps. Like, with a future installment or anything, that's how you got Uncharted. How do you think we got Uncharted 2? Uncharted 1 was not revolutionary in this game design. It was good. It was good in terms of story, but gameplay and like the shooting mechanics, it was below average.
It was rough.
It was rough for Uncharted 1.
It's literally the only Uncharted I can't go back to.
A lot of people don't like because of that aim mechanics, but guess what? That feedback went a long way, and what happened? You got a gem. You got Uncharted 2.
My favorite PlayStation 3 game of the entire campaign.
There you go. See, a lot of people say Uncharted 3, and it's like, it's fine, But again, you getting those next gen upgrades because of what? You gave the proper feedback, and that needs to be be the same energy for Destruction All Stars. If you like it, fine, you like it, but let's not put this game on a pedestal and act like this game is doing something revolutionary or this game is justifiable for $70. It's not justifiable for $70. There's nothing near that screams $70.
Yeah,
and I can say that as a diehard PlayStation dude. Yeah. There is nothing in this game that screams $70. You know what a game, in my honest opinion, would be worth $70? And granted, this game won Game of the Year, and I didn't like the third act of this game. But I would say Last of Us Part 2, if they remade that for PlayStation 5, that would be worth $70. Why? Because of what you're getting. You're getting a very long story.
You're getting a masterpiece in graphics. You're getting incredible RPG elements added to it. You're
accessibility like no other
stealth I've ever seen in a game.
Yes, you see what I'm saying, Boom. You get this package, you get this insane value with it. That's what I'm saying too. That type of stuff I would say is worth $70. Even with the accessibility settings that Naughty Dog offered with Last of Us 2, I was shocked. I was even shocked that Naughty Dog did this. I was like, wow, there's so much you can do in this game. There's so much freedom they're giving you access to, which is very uncharacteristic of them. But again, for $70, that's stuff that warrants that type of stuff. Giving us bare minimum does not guarantee 70.
I have a thought, and I want to ask because I haven't played Destruction All Stars yet. I did claim it through PS Plus and installed it, but haven't played it yet. So I have a couple questions for you guys that have played it. This is, of course, is a all multiplayer game, right?
Yes. Well, no, you can play it by yourself. You definitely
you're still playing with other people.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's that. There's also, you said I heard you guys say there was limited modes.
Yeah.
There's only
like
three or four.
Now we'll talk. 3 of those modes are slap. Like, I like Mayhem. Gridlock is probably the one I like the most. I
agree. Yeah, I like Gridlock a lot. Yes.
Where it's kind of like Hexagon in Fall Guys, where the platforms are falling and like it's the last man standing type of deal. Yeah. And then you have like a really bad domination mode. I'm not a fan of the team battles.
Do you think they're waiting for this game to take off kind of like Fall Guys, though, to add like a season 2 to this? Do y'all think that's the case? Because they literally launched this so bare bones.
Yeah, that's the way their roadmap they were talking about. It's probably like in seasons. I really think this game, if it was again like a freemium game, Yeah, I would be way more positive on this going, okay, yeah, it's free. It's something your kids could get into for sure.
Yes,
But
for sure. Absolutely.
$70?
Kid
No,
friendly.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are ways to
It-
get money out of everybody where they'll pay. Just make it free to play and add cosmetics. There you go. I mean, that's
And you're making
literally
your
it.
money on the back end. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Again,
Rogue Company went this route. Remember Slow-Mo? They just introduced the Battle Pass system.
Yeah, yeah. Now, my other question is, how many maps are there in this?
Oh,
I'm going
A
to be
handful.
honest with you. I don't know because
I
they
don't
all
think.
kind of seem the same.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So all my questions have led me to the conclusion that I thought I was going to end up to. What makes this any different than Bleeding Edge?
Nothing. That's and that's a great one.
Good point.
Because
Slow-Mo.
even the IGN review alluded to the same thing. Like, it's kind of has a Bleeding Edge vibe, not in the
Yeah.
ways you kind of want it to. Like,
Yeah, and
this game's overall forgettable.
Bleeding Edge launched with I think like maybe
one
at the
map.
most 3. No, there was more than one map. I
Was it? I thought
played
it was-
it.
I thought it was
I
one
played
with,
it
like,
in the
different
alpha,
sectors. Oh, okay.
and it was the thing was that in the alpha I was fine with it. I was fine with the limited number of characters, the only 2 modes, and like only 3 or 4 maps, because I thought, hey, well, look, this is the alpha. We're gonna see everything when the game comes out. But then turned out that was the full game. It was literally everything that they had showed in the alpha was what they had in the actual release, which just literally was not good enough for this kind of genre. And that was one of the bigger complaints with it. Outside of also it being the gameplay being too slow, especially for maps that were the size that they had them for, yada yada yada. Character designs were hideous, all kinds of stuff. Right now. Destruction also doesn't have the hideous character designs or the slower pace, but I'm looking at what you guys are saying about it being limited. Maybe I heard some feedback from it saying that people wish that the vehicles had weapons. And then just what you guys talking about the limited modes and environments. This seems the fact that this game is $70 when even though Bleeding Edge was in Game Pass, if you wanted to buy that game, I think it was like 30.
Yeah.
So like it just seems like this game has been really, really overvalued, or they looked at what cost of development was for this game and said, yeah, we just can't. Depending,
I think overvalued is
Yeah.
probably right, because
Yeah.
when you're PlayStation and you're trying to set the precedent of our games are $70 thing, and you have the lineup of like Miles, Demon Souls, you want a unified message of like all games are going to be this price, and I think that's why they did it in the first place. Just don't think it's a smart idea.
I just think more effort, honestly, needs to be showcased for that.
Well, here's a great
here's
a great question for the panel, and obviously, if Chad, if you guys and gals want to jump in on it, this is my running theory, and Joe and I talked about this in the pregame yesterday, and I want to bring it up now. Returnal by Housemarque is delayed. It's been delayed for a bit. I think it's coming out on the 30th of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the game. But here is the thing. I'm a huge Housemarque fan. Now, if you are a PlayStation diehard fan, it's a developer that you know what they bring to the table. But if you're someone that maybe isn't a diehard, you just bought the console because it's the cool console, you're not going to know. I think Returnal is going to have a $70 conversation that's going to, again, you just said it, Big Cloud. You don't know what this game is. I'm right there with you. I've been watching all the trails, and I have no freaking idea what's going on.
We just seen gameplay on top of gameplay, which is fine. There's no such thing as showing bad problems after having big gameplay. It's just like, but what's the point of it? What does it lead to? Like,
here's my question to you. Here's my question to you, Big Cloud.
Yeah.
Does this go into PlayStation Plus, or is Sony going to try and get $70 out of their players?
That's a good question. Honestly, if they were smart, I would put this in Plus. Honestly, I will put this in Plus. I know that might sound weird. This is Housemarque's first AAA game, but honestly, though, what especially, and there's a reason why they delayed this. I'm pretty sure they pushed it to April because there's no major releases in April.
Yeah. Yeah,
Y'all
that's
noticed
true.
that, right? Y'all noticed that, right? They moved this game away from the competition. They don't want this game to get lost in the fray because they know it's going to get lost in the fray, especially for $70.
Yeah.
So
No,
they know what's going on here.
I think they did it more for a quarterly thing, giving Housemarque a little bit more time, because I believe this quarter ends at the end of March, and they
March
probably
31st
want to.
is yes.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, they
Okay.
probably want to show that this thing has a strong return. This one is not the one that goes into PlayStation Plus. I definitely think it's All Stars. If anyone goes permanently, it's All Stars. I think Returnal, actually, when you take a look at the games to the games to come, has a great alibi if it doesn't sell well or doesn't have the legs, because you're looking at games like, I mean, like Maze is fucking crazy with games like Mass Effect, we're gonna talk in a second about.
Yes.
You know, Resident Evil, Deathloop, all these games are coming out in May, around there. So, you know, Sony and Housemarque kind of has an out if this game doesn't have the legs that they think they should. I'm right there with you guys. $70 changes the conversation how we view these games. I've said, I think on last show, of just like, when you take a look at where we've been game wise for the last 10-15 years, games have been $60. Yeah, we've been due for a price increase, and I think it incentivizes things like PlayStation Now, and it only incentivizes things like Game Pass more so, but it also changes the way then we look at it. We do have that bit of a sticker shock attached to these games. So even though like this was bound to happen, it was going to happen, we still look at that extra 10 going, okay, now this is $70, and this is different. And for most people, like, I'm a diehard Housemarque fan. Like, I know this game. I know what this game's gonna be.
Wrestle Gun is
fucking in.
fantastic. Yeah, Wrestle Gun was like the breakout game.
I'm
PS4.
pushing for, and I hope it happens this year. They're a studio that deserves, absolutely deserves. And Joe, you know where I'm going, to be a part of Sony,
and they so very much are too. And the problem with Returnal isn't the fact that, I mean, it's one of the things. Housemarque does a really great job of if you're a Housemarque fan, follow that Twitter. They give you constant updates.
Yeah, they do. They're amazing.
The thing with them is, and Greg Miller coined it, is this game looks like a game in a movie where they're playing a game, but you know this game's not real. You know what I mean? It has that type of look to it. And I don't know, because as much as this is Housemarque's first game, they're co-developing along another studio, and I know that they probably adopted this game. So, looking at that game, that's the biggest problem it has, probably, is its art style. But the thing is, Housemarque has something to prove here when it comes to what they can do, if they can do things in the AAA space. And that's the thing that I think we're gonna look out for. Returnal is either gonna be like a fun hit, or it's going to be the Order 1886. It seems like from...
I love that game, by the way.
I love it too. Give it a sequel. It deserves a sequel. Cut the cinematic bullshit. You give me more werewolves. Anyway. But like it can have... It's either the Order, or it's something different and new. I'm praying it's something different and new. I understand, though, the apprehension. I understand the concern about it, because... Yeah, like when I'm hearing about this game, it's like, oh, dude, they're gonna give me the Souls element of like, it's about dying, it's about learning, and then give me, rogue light elements of like, yeah, you start kind of over from the beginning, like in Dead Cells, but like you get better weapons every time you go through the cycle. Like, shit looks crazy. So I'm again, I don't know where that game's future lies, but I'm way more optimistic in that game's future than I am in, let's say, an All Stars.
Okay, I mean, it definitely makes sense. And again, I want to see Housemarque succeed. I think that they're an incredible studio. Slow-mo, let's grab your opinion on this. You have a PlayStation 5. Obviously, if you don't know the story, he got it from Kohl's. I mean, like, holy
I
shit.
fucking love that, dude.
I mean, that's a great story, dude. Hey, how did
Oh
you get yours?
man.
Oh no, I waited online 3 days at Best Buy. No.
I bought me 3 socks and they gave me a coupon.
And they
Like,
gave me
Yeah.
a coupon. Right? Yeah, you go. I got some bucks on the back end of this deal.
PS5
I
came out
I
with
put a
came with a
PS5
cardigan. I love
bundle
it.
and a kitchen set.
I love it. That's such a great story. Is Returnal on your radar?
It's slightly on my radar, but not for $70. And I'll always say this about the value of a game is subjective. It's all in the eye of the beholder. And for certain games, for me, for example, when it comes to, we're going to talk about this later, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition, yeah, you know, I don't tell EA this, but I would pay more for that than what they're charging. But that's me being a massive Mass Effect fan.
Yes.
And you know, that's not may not be someone else who say never actually played the games before. You know, I don't know where they've been in their life, but the fact that they haven't played them, but they don't get that nostalgia. Or
I'm almost jealous of
understand
those
the value.
people.
Right,
Honestly, I'm jealous of those
They're
people
in for a
that
treat. They're in
yeah.
for a massive treat. But it's
What if
all
I said
in the eye
that
of
was
the
Luke
beholder.
Lord and he didn't like it? And I'm not lying to you. He said he didn't like it. He was in the right headspace. Fucking idiot. I hate Luke so much. I'm sorry.
We love Luke.
Who said he didn't like it?
Insipid Ghost, Luke Lore. You know
Okay,
what? He's
look,
a big
no,
Star Wars fan. He's probably going to come around to it.
we should probably get him some help. I think he might.
I agree with you.
He
I
might
agree with you right
have
there.
a substance abuse issue or something
Yeah.
that's going on, and you know, I'm gonna pray for him because like
Okay.
that's crazy. That's crazy talk. But anyway, as I said, like I thought when I first saw the trailer Returnal, I was like, oh man, I gotta play that. That looks good. I'm definitely interested in that. Price tag $70. Hold on.
Yeah,
now.
see that's where I think there. I think. Look, here's the thing: the game is. I'm just throwing it out there. It has the potential to be something very special from what I've seen. Question is people are people going to give it a shot? And I think that the $70 price point for games, and again, Joe and I talked about this yesterday. If you tell me that for $70 I'm getting the Call of Duties that we just got, right? You're like, okay, I'm not a big fan of paying 10 extra bucks, but I know what I'm getting. You pay
Right.
$70 and you get Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's a monster game for $70. You're like, you know what? Okay, I'm all in. So, but those you kind of know what you're getting. The problem that I see here with Returnal is it has an image problem because we don't know enough about the game.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a developer who hasn't really made a game of this level yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you also have a brand new IP that doesn't have as you said, doesn't have any of that built-in brand loyalty that comes with a successful IP, a successful previous game. Brand new IPs don't really get that leeway. And so you add all that together and you're kind of looking at it like, $70 for this? Like, it better be good. And so, like, this is the kind of game.
Here's the icing on the cake too. Look at Callisto. Remember the Callisto protocol?
Yes.
That has more people talking about, paying $70 for it than Returnal.
Wow.
That's good.
That's crazy, right? That's
and
crazy. People
I
are willing
think
to pay
the
$70 for
thing that
they know what you're getting.
I think the thing with how Returnals, the strength to it is ain't nothing coming out. Might as well play this. That's what their thing is. It's just like, this is a next gen game. Oh, I hear it's next gen. All right, let me try it out type of effect. More so than anything. I'm hoping and I'm banking on this game being good. I am curious to see, depending on how this year goes and next year, as we get into the next gen, when prices go up or if they go up to $70. And if because listen, we're gamers, we say a lot of shit that we aren't going to buy this thing, right? And oftentimes every time we boycott something, it somehow is still super popular. And look, as much shit as we give Cyberpunk, 13 million copies sold in its first week, right, or something like that.
Mhm.
So like we could boycott, we could say that we aren't going to buy it, ends up we buy it. And that's what the thing I'm curious is the concern for $70 overblown? And I know that's not the best words I could use for it, but like, is it something we say we're not going to do, but end up actually doing, or is this something that does have the effect on companies, and then they go, you know what, we tried 70 and it didn't work. Let's go back to $59.99. That's my question. Because honest to goodness, when you take a look at the returns out of PlayStation, returns out of Microsoft, returns out of Nintendo, it's looking good. You know, especially out of PlayStation. So looking like people will buy the shit out of these things. They don't care. And that's the thing is it, you know, will this Rona situation kind of put people in a more of a like a consumer, you know, eye of like, yeah, I'll buy the thing. I'm bored. You know, I can't watch Tiger King 2. Are you kidding me? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
to answer that, I think there is a concern for it. You know, it just comes back down to, like I said before, what the game is offering and really what you pretty much know about it. Honestly, like, are you really? And
how it trickles down back to the consumer, I think, is the most important thing. Yeah, is like, how does it resonate? Because look, again, like we are. You know, people that make these shows, people that listen in, we often have we overblow things a bit, right? Or are very vocal. That's a better word.
Yeah.
Than most consumers out there. Like we're a very small percentage of the grand scheme of things. So like, if Returnal in games like it could resonate with consumers, if they look at the price tag on 70, that's like, all right, whatever, and like still buy it, or consumers walking in going, $70, this fucking sucks, I'm out. Or does it go $70 for this, or what's a Game Pass? Like, and I think it's kind of a little bit of column C and B.
Well, I would think for a game like Returnal 1, if you're looking at the casual audience, they don't even know what Returnal is right now at this point. So
exactly. We got to wait for that.
The hardcore audience that's going to, if a game becomes a successful IP, is usually picked up by the hardcore audience first, and then that trickles into
and then of course word of mouth gets to the
casual audience, and then they'll give it a shot, and then realize, wow, this is a really, really good game. Now, when it comes to the success of these platforms, I think that of course has a lot to do with the pandemic and stuff like that. But when you compare a game like, say, Miles Morales, that was $70 with a remaster of a slam dunk banger of a Spider-Man 2018, that's like, this is all that was for $70 versus just this game with this soccer mom with a space gun that's $70. I don't know. So like, I think it really comes down to how people view or value whether it's worth it or not. And as I said, like, the hardcore game is going to be the first one that's going to adopt this. If the hardcore game is kind of like, I think you kind of overpriced this, is it really going to really catch on? And I hate to see that, because if the game turns out to be a really high quality game, I would hate it to be one of those games that was like a really good game that no one bought, because we see that happen often. But then, I don't know, like you mentioned earlier about what was really coming out in April. I mean, I know there's supposed to be Outriders.
There's Outriders, yes.
There's Near Replicant and a new Pokemon game. So, I mean, as far as
Snap, right?
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, there's a little bit of competition there, but it's not nothing overwhelming or anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not as fierce as like the months prior.
Right. Resident Evil comes out a week later, by the way, too. So.
And I think that's what I think that's what Sony's looking at it like. So like, if I'm a marketing guy and I'm looking at the games that are coming out, right? Pokemon's not my competition, different game. I'm thinking Outriders, also an unknown IP, put it in air quotes. Unproven, actually. There you go. Unproven IP, technically last gen game. I think Sony looks at this going, this is a next gen game, and we're targeting people that have that PlayStation 5 that are like thirsty for that true next gen
Yeah,
experience.
if you're a marketing dude, that is definitely what they're thinking. That actually makes a lot of sense. And you know something? It's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
So that's again when you compile exclusive, when you put, first of all, when you put up front that it's Housemarque, at least for me, you already got my interest peaked. And then of course you start going down the line. It's an exclusive. Am I thirsty for a new PlayStation exclusive? Yeah, I kind of am. The question is though, and I think this is going to be a one that many people in the community are going to go back and forth. If it turns out to be, let's say, a 9, like it's just an incredible experience, right? People are going to start saying, well, justifying the $70, even though it's their first AAA game. If it turns out to be a 7, people are going to be like, yeah, you see, this is what we're talking about. This is my fear.
Yeah.
$70 equals 7s now, and what's going on? So I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm going to play the fence on this one. Do I think would I like it to go into PlayStation Plus? Sure. Would I think that they're going to put it in there? Probably not, because of exactly what Joe said. But I do want to move on to the main topic of conversation, because I think we're going to be here for a while. But before we start talking Mass Effect, I have to thank a couple of people. First of all, Z Black Writer in the chat drops an outstanding $5 super chat, says, hey, happy Friday, Boom. I had no idea BitCloud was a PlayStation fan.
Oh, God.
Bounty Boom drops an outstanding $5 super chat, says, good morning, Boom. Good morning, panel. I have to agree with Slow-Mo, especially if it's a new franchise. Yeah, see, I think that's what you're going to get a lot of. But look, folks, here's the thing. EA, also known as the dastardly empire of gaming, is doing something that the entire community has been basically begging for years. And one of the things that we got into a conversation with early on in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One era was remasters being in abundance. And for me personally, if it's a game that I loved, I honestly did not mind paying for it again, and more importantly, playing through it to get that additional achievement / trophies. But when you start talking about trilogies, there are no better combination of games than the Mass Effect trilogy. It is an iconic piece of electronic gaming that, to this day, I honestly have to say has no rival. I mean, it's a
best trilogy ever.
Yeah, hands down. And we're going to go to you first, Slow-Mo, on this, because obviously having you on today it worked out perfectly that obviously the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which of course are HD remasters of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. We got a chance to see a little bit of a snippet preview on the announcement trailer that they just dropped. I'm not sure if it was the beginning of this week or last week, but I watched that
this week.
It was this week. Okay. I watched that trailer a dozen times. And I have to say that I'm even more excited and impressed. I think, and what I was saying earlier about being jealous of people that never played the trilogy, I mean that, of course, I mean that, being silly, but if you've never experienced Mass Effect, if you are a new gamer, because again, we're old men here, right? So we got some years on us. At least for me, I'm definitely the old man in the room. But I'm looking forward. I put it to you this way: how I'm going to play this game or the trilogy is nothing else is going to exist. That is what is going to initially happen, because I want to experience this. And what I've beaten each one of those games so many times that there were certain aspects that I remember that of choices I did not make in my original playthrough that I'm going to now make in this playthrough. Where I can see different endings, different character, building up characters that might have died when you have to make a choice. Like one of the big choices in the beginning of Mass Effect 1 is, do you keep the dude? Do you keep the girl?
Ashley, right?
Yeah, Ashley. I for some reason, and this is crazy, I've never seen it where Ashley has lived.
Really?
Never seen it. I've always, for some reason,
Wow.
picked what the hell was his name?
Caden.
Caden. That's right. I don't know why. I thought I
Hmm.
honestly I thought about it when they announced this, and I said I'm going to make sure I pick Ashley this time. I've never had her live. I actually had Rex die early on one of my playthroughs. Thankfully,
Wow, you have like
yes.
the darkest timeline.
Yes,
This is
but I know I did my second playthrough. I did get Rex to live. I did get
yeah.
him to live, but my first playthrough, he died, and I was like, "Damn, I really like this freaking. I'm gonna have to play this freaking game again." And I listen. I tell this story all the time, and because I'm a diehard gamer. I don't care what console. If it's a good game, I'm gonna play it. My crowning achievement of gaming, at least in my personal opinion, happens to be Mass Effect 2, where I played that
Suicide mission.
freaking game 3 times to get this achievement. And it was to get everyone in my crew to live on that final mission, and I got it. I jumped up. I have 10-foot ceilings in the house. I'm only 6 feet. I want you to know that I literally jumped out of my seat where I almost hit the top of the ceiling. I was so excited. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So, slow-mo, here we go. The Mass Effect trilogy is being released on May 14th. I have a feeling that, and we're actually gonna have there's a subtopic to this. I don't want to mention the name of it because it's for me it's very exciting. We're gonna come back around to everyone. First, we're gonna cover Mass Effect. For you, as someone that I consider one of the biggest Mass Effects, the only one that I think might challenge you is like Jamie Moran. Like that dude is like goes bonkers for it. So you guys are probably even keel. For you, how big of a deal is this event?
This is as far as I'm concerned, like I did a video earlier this year, which year ain't that long anyway, but like a few weeks ago, basically. I was talking about my most anticipated games of 2021. This was up there. I actually had to like think about it for a second. I was like, you know what? I don't want to make this number one. But almost kind of felt like it's my number one. But let me not do that. Let me make it like number 2 or 3 or something. But just this game, I've been ever since the rumors came out last year that this was in the works. I've been just overjoyed and can't wait for it because I play through the Mass Effect trilogy about once a year, and just going through it again, and most recently on PC where I'm doing it without any of the mods, which means no controller support. Only mods I've used have been the ones that kind of fix some issues because they really didn't give the PC version much love, honestly. But this series is iconic. I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's the best video game trilogy in video game history.
I would agree with that. I would
Yeah.
I would find a hard argument to go up against that statement.
Yeah, and I dropped a few videos a while ago talking about what my concerns were, and my concerns were, are they going to give the quality of life improvements that Mass Effect 1 needed? Because that game's 14
That's
years
a
old,
great
and
question, dude. I hope so.
oh, they had. Well, they
Did.
they answered those questions for me, which is the reason why I'm really like super excited. And because BioWare was at one point my favorite studio, but in recent times they haven't lived up to the reputation that they had developed over the years. And I don't think anyone would be shocked or feel it would be out of place to have some real concerns with how this was going to turn out. But I look at everything that has come to pass with it, what they revealed and showed us, and I'm like, okay, I get the decisions that they made with the decision to stay with Unreal Engine 3 instead of upgrading it to Unreal Engine 4, because they just kept it real. They kept it a buck. That was like, that's going to take too much long and cost too much money. So
Yeah.
you want this now? You want this in 2 years? So I had like, hey, look, I'll take it now. And if you look at it, it's in 4K. You got 4K HDR, 60 frames per second on consoles. You're going to get a really, really good experience out of it. They are, for the UI, they are taking the Mass Effect 2's UI and then using that for Mass Effect 1 and 3. They fixed the cover shooting with Mass Effect 1. They fixed the Mako's controls, which are just awful. Like all the issues that I was concerned with Mass Effect 1, with new gamers coming in and not really realizing how great this trilogy is just because the first one is kind of dated. Then they're like, oh, but these controls suck. I'm not playing this game. I don't see what the big deal is. And they completely miss out on Mass Effect 2 and 3. All the great moments, all the great story beats. They miss out on all that stuff just because of something minor. I'm glad they put the love in on the game to make sure that those things are a little bit better implemented now that you're 14 years later and you've done a few games that have shooting elements under your belt already, and you can make some better decisions here and there. All that stuff's awesome. I do see every now and then you could definitely tell that this engine doesn't have some of the things that we take for granted out of current modern day gaming. Every now and then in the environment you see like for what they showed of the comparison between the original to the legendary edition, you still see some like environments and rocks that's just like, that doesn't look that great. But then at the same time, it's like, well, it makes sense. This is still a 14-year-old game. But regardless, I feel that people who haven't played this trilogy before, as you said earlier, in for a massive treat. This is BioWare at its peak.
Yes,
storytelling 100%. That you don't like. I've seen people say before how they don't go play video games for stories, and I always say to these people, you have this opinion because you haven't played any video games that have a quality story.
I agree 100%.
This series story, there's very few games that can match this game in storytelling and characters. And yeah, I mean, I know I've said a whole lot and very little of it negative. Let me try to be balanced. There's a chance, because this is BioWare, this thing could be a buggy mess when it comes out. Yeah,
you never know.
Might see some crab walking, NPCs. We might see Shepard's head go full exorcist and start twisting around his body. We don't know.
That's my favorite meme, where he turns around. That's so freaking great. I love that.
So yeah, look, we might see some of that stuff. I'm really hoping, considering that they stuck with the same engine, that they could fix some of the issues, some of the outstanding issues that the original game had, as well as because it's still the original engine, that maybe they aren't really doing so much that this is going to cause a problem for them in introducing new bugs. But all that said, I can't wait for it. Again, one of my most anticipated games this year. I'm going to get it on. I already have EA Play Pro, so I'm already going to have it on PC, but I'm also going to pick it up on PlayStation 5 too, just because I kind of want to have a Paragon and Renegade playthrough that I'm doing at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Here's a bigger question: are you getting the collector's edition?
No.
Okay, so you're not getting.
No. And here's why: I hate collectors. This is just something that I feel a principle thing. I don't like collector's editions that don't include the game.
Yeah, Look, I'm a collector's edition freak. Everyone knows that I buy collector's editions. I used to do unboxings for them. Now, I'm going to start again. But it's again, when you do 4 shows, there's only so much time in a day. Mm-hmm. This didn't bother me as much because, like for instance, I bought the Doomslayer collector's edition, and that of course came with the game, but that was $250. When I bought Fallout 76, I believe it was $250 as well, which is not good. But I wanted the helmet. When I bought the Titanfall 2 helmet collector's edition, I believe that was also $250. So the collector's edition is $150. I know Zemi's buying it. I know that I'm definitely all in on it. The minute I saw the tweet,
I'm buying it. I'm buying it.
Joe, let's go to you, Joe. First of all, where does Mass Effect fall for you? And more importantly, is this going to be a game that is going to be played first and foremost when it comes out, like it's a brand new game? And where do you fall on the collector's edition?
So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I never have bought in a collector's edition faster in my life
Good for you.
than this one.
Good
I
on
looked at it,
you.
I saw the helmet, I knew I don't have any space for it, but I was like, fuck, where am I gonna put the helmet? I don't know. I'll find out when I buy it. And so I bought it, and
Yeah, I love it.
immediately, I don't like you could have told me no game, whatever, I don't care. So the one thing that I like, and this is also another thing as we move into that digital future, is how we're handling collector's editions. More and more people are switching over to digital or digital
Yes.
only. And so how does a company go ahead and make more money on that while at the same time not giving any type of opportunity to lose a sale? So what I mean by that is, we're talking about it this week on the trophy room. Kyle was just like, oh, just put the digital and the disc together and that's it. And maybe you unlock the disc by doing the code. I'm like, Kyle, look at how you sound. You sound like a crazy person. If you put a digital code and a physical copy in, you gave someone 2 copies of the game, right? So you're devaluing that copy of the game. Someone's just going to literally bring either the code or the disc to someone, and bam, like they lost the sale.
You lost
so
the sale.
Yeah, and at the same exact time, you're like, well, why don't you just have one where it's digital collectors and one that is physical?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
And I say, okay, well, here's me, mister. I have a marketing degree. I got it. How do you market that? And B, as a production standpoint, and real talk, when I mean, like, how do you market that? Like, how do you tell people this is a digital deluxe? It comes with the helmet. I don't know. In an easier way. And the more importantly is, and I was losing my train of thought when I was going on a rant about how when I buy the helmet, is you have 2 productions. On a production standpoint, you have 2 SKUs. One of those SKUs are going to be more popular than the other, which means you're going to probably lose money or not be able to maximize your profit if you had just one SKU that didn't include the disc. So theoretically, this sounds like it sucks. It does to some extent. When I take a look at, like, I own helmets, y'all. I have a Back to the Future. I have a Star Wars one. I got my Halo one. Those both cost about $100. The Mandalorian that you could get, it's Black Series. That one is 110. So when I take a look at the Mass Effect helmet, I'm like, oh, I'm just paying like $30-$40 more. That's fine with me. So when I take a look at what's the example I used? Resident Evil 8, right? That collector's edition, first off, they got like 18 of them. You could buy one with Chris Redfield's jacket for like over $1,000. But we're talking about the one that people probably want, the one with the statue, $210.
Yeah.
So if we're including the game in here, it's a $200 collector's. They know you're going to buy it, and they're maximizing their profits by making it so you can only buy it through the BioWare store. It just makes sense through a logistical standpoint, especially when you have COVID around. This is probably the future, and EA has done this with previous collectors as well, with, I believe, Mass Effect 3. But I think here is I understand why people are upset. I don't think it's the end of the world. Because you're gonna buy it anyway. Is what we said earlier. Like, we're gonna get angry, but we're gonna be like, you know what? I can't believe that you're doing this to me, EA. I hate you. You're the worst company in the world. Do you take debit or credit? Like, that's what it's gonna be.
Right.
So, I'm pumped, dude. I expect all of us, when that Breakfast with Boom lands, we're all in the helmet.
Yeah,
and if we're not, then we have a problem.
Then we're gonna definitely have a problem. We definitely have to start all wearing the helmet for sure.
Absolutely.
Real quick, Reggie Mobile 9, welcome back, Reggie. Hopefully you are well. He drops an outstanding $7 super chat and says, "Showbiz, great Boom and panel. I can't wait to jump back into Mass Effect. I've played Mass Effect 1 and 2 about 20 times altogether. ME3 only once." Yeah, ME3 for a lot of people was a turning point on how it played out like more of an action movie, which I didn't mind because I thought I really enjoyed the gunplay. Obviously, the end of the day, a lot of people did not like the ending. But let's get Big Cloud. Big Cloud, are you back, brother? Okay, he stepped away for a hot second. And
He's
we
buying that collector's edition right now.
buying the collector's edition as we
Yeah.
speak. Yes, no, listen. Well, you know what? We'll come back to him on it. What the sub question that I want to bring up is this. Look, EA they are who they are, right? We understand that. And like Joe just said, how dare you dastardly EA Dark Empire take my money? Well, here's the next question that I have. And again, this is one that I think potentially is not as great as a trilogy, but one that absolutely 100% deserves a collector's legendary edition to come back. And the question I'm going to pose is this. Dead Space is a horror franchise that it's almost disgusting that we don't have
Stop right there, Boom.
Yes.
I'm buying it.
Okay. So yeah, me too. It's automatic. But this. First of all, there are a couple of down points to the comment. One, it's almost a bloody shame that a Visceral Games doesn't exist anymore. That in itself is gross. But what's grosser, if that is even a word, is the fact that we didn't get a fourth title in the franchise that could have seen a return to what made Dead Space 1 so unbelievably good but terrifying, right? Here's the question that I have for the chat. This is the question I have for the panel as well. With the success of Mass Effect, because it's going to be successful, there's no doubt about it that this is probably going to, I would even dare say, that we could see. Sorry about that. We actually.
I thought you disconnected. I got
no, my mic was acting weird for a second. But we actually could see sales of of the Mass Effect trilogy that could rival sales of the original release. That's my take on it.
Very possible.
If that happens, and there's a good chance it will, being that EA loves money and actually could make a real mint on what do you call a Dead Space trilogy HD remaster. Two questions. Do you want that? And B, will it happen? And we'll start with Mr. Badbit.
Hi, yes, I'll buy it. How much money you want? Am I getting the plasma cutter as well? If it's come with the plasma cutter, you just...
What if it comes with a helmet? Like the light up helmet?
You could tell me, Boom, that you could get the surgery to have the back plate installed into your spinal cord to tell you if you're low or medium on health, and I'll do it. I will do that. It's not even a question to me. Yeah. Oh God, yes. Like, as much as I love Mass Effect, I would kill for Dead Space. So yeah, absolutely, man. I would. Yeah, they need to bring that back, and I'm really hoping that like EA sees this, because the one thing that I know EA didn't want the Star Wars IP after the old guard bought it. They thought it was such a good deal. They didn't want to get tied down to one IP that they couldn't own forever. I'm hoping that they go back to the board here and go, okay, look, we got the sports games. They're going to continue to make a mint for us. Let's see what we can do on the games side of things and bring some old series back. Like if they brought back Skate, it's obviously that they're kind of listening at this point.
Yeah.
Like, all right, people really want it now.
That's a great
It's time to prove it.
Yeah.
And so if they're bringing Skate back, bring back Visceral. But at the same exact time, we got the Callisto effect. We don't know how good that game's gonna be. A lot of previous Visceral people working on that. So I don't know, man. Give me more. Just give me Dead Space.
And it's funny because again, EA, we know who they are. It's not like we're that we don't understand that they unfortunately sometimes put the dollar in front of the customer instead of the customer in front of the money. But we definitely need a Dead Space revival, and I think that if the Mass Effect trilogy is successful, and I have a really strong suspicion it's going to be, we are going to be very. I hope that they listen.
There's no doubt.
People. Yeah,
there's no doubt.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Real quick, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast drops another very generous $2 super chat and says, Mass Effect 2 is the GOAT indeed. It's my favorite of the trilogy, without a doubt. Slomo, let's get your opinion on this. Dead Space is another trilogy from the 360 era that holds a significant weight for many. Obviously, you know, Joe and my opinions on it. It is survival horror at its absolute finest. I remember terrified to turn a corner because you heard the creature, you knew it was coming, and you kind of the whole not being able to save on the fly kind of a thing, and everything about that trilogy screams success. Do you see us getting a trilogy if Mass Effect is successful?
I'm gonna say no. Here's why. I saw something in regards to why we're getting this Mass Effect remaster trilogy, and it was due really solely internally between BioWare. So the previous general manager before Casey Huston took over was his last name was Flynn.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he was petitioned multiple times by directors within BioWare to try to get this remaster done. He kept saying no. One of the first things that Casey Huston did when he took over was approve. And so now we have 3 years later, here is this trilogy coming out. It seems like this entire thing was started, and really the whole decision to do it was all within BioWare and not really the decision of EA. And so without really EA really pushing for this, the way they pushed for Anthem, the way they pushed for them to use Frostbite engine when they didn't want to, and certain things, I don't think that it's going to happen, especially when you don't have that studio that originally created the IP around anymore to petition for it.
Yeah,
Get it done. So it really need. Yeah, I could see there could be a chance that this really blows up with sales, and EA goes, "Oh, money! I like money. Money's great. Hey, what are we doing with Dead Space? What are we doing with all these other IP that we're just collecting dust right now?" I made another potential obstacle is that because Visceral isn't around now, unlike the Knights of the Old Republic remake that's happening without BioWare or EA, the EA seems to stick to their internal studios for this kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's a chance they could go outside. Maybe there's someone that they trust, an indie that they've been publishing for, like the guy that did A Way Out Studio or something like that. Like maybe they could go to someone else to do it, but it just seems kind of unlikely. I maybe I'm a little bit doubtful, but also I'm not. I've actually never played a Dead Space game.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe
Lock this man up. make him, please. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll try it eventually, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the IP to really say yay or nay on it. But it just seems with EA's just knowing the inner workings of why this trilogy is happening, it just seems like EA isn't really too invested in doing those. They just seem like really have no problem with just sitting on IPs that can be making them a ton of money.
Yeah,
and just let they collect dust and not doing anything with it. So
I hate him. I hate him so much.
yeah, they do. Well, I mean, listen, we've seen that with a lot of companies that you kind of scratch your head about. You know, what are you doing with this IP? I mean, I don't want to bring this, turn this into an Xbox topic, but I'm still waiting for the announcement for Banjo-Kazooie. I don't understand it. It's still
time will come.
Yeah, it will. It's no doubt about it. And again, if the studio acquisition of not Playful, the one that did the ukulele,
Platonic.
Yeah, Platonic. Thank you. If Platonic is one of the studios that are going to be announced in 2021, which I have a good suspicion that it's going to be one of them, and it rightfully should. The entire team is made up of ex-Rare developers that want to make a Banjo-Kazooie revival, and I think that not only do they fit Microsoft's portfolio with being 100+ men and women team, but you definitely they're passionate about bringing back Banjo-Kazooie in a way that's going to be fresh for the series, and certainly we listen, folks. I'm hoping that we see a turn for Microsoft, and again, I hate to turn this into a Microsoft topic, but if early indications are anything to go by. And of course, I'm talking about, seeing Perfect Dark and Fable make a return.
Mhm.
We're going to start seeing some of the older IPs potentially come back as well. And I think that there's a lot there. There's a lot there that could be, petitioned to become something. I would love to see a new Conquer after a Banjo Kazooie. And I think that even though it's potty humor, I think that it's still would be relevant in today's world, in gamers world. And that's just my opinion on it.
I think it really comes down to their first party studios and whether they want to do it or not. Because you mentioned Fable, that's something that it was brought to Playground Games' attention. Could you turn this game you're working on into Fable? And they made the decision to say yes. But I think I recall the guy that runs Double Fine saying, "No, I think we want to make our own new IP. We're not really trying to," because there was this talk that maybe
Tim Schafer?
Yeah.
I love Tim. He's great.
Yeah, there was this talk that people were hoping. It was more of speculation that turned into rumor that Double Fine's going to do Banjo, and he's just like, nah. And and it's like these studios, they have the autonomy to do work on what they want to work on. And it's really just going to come down to if one of their 23 studios and growing wants to do the IP, then it'll get done. So I'm not saying it probably won't happen, because I think actually probably will happen eventually. It really just comes down to what's a good fit, which studio would be a great fit for it. I thought your potentially Platonic doing it seems like a good fit if they end up becoming a first party studio. But then we just never know, because like that there is that unknown of, yeah, but we kind of want to make our own Banjo. We kind of want to make our own thing.
Yeah,
and have that be
I mean, listen, they're all X-Rare developers. That entire studio's first project was Ukulele, was a spiritual successor in every way to Banjo Kazooie. So I think that if they had an opportunity to not only be acquired, I think that if you ask them, do you guys want to make a Banjo? I think they'd be jumping out of their seats to do it. But again, I don't know.
Definitely. That I could definitely see that too. Yeah.
I mean, we'll definitely see about that. But you know what? Let's go to the chat on this. We got over 250 people here. With remakes seemingly being a thing, and certainly, obviously, with the Mass Effect trilogy remaster being, released in a couple of months, what particular IP do you want to see be remade and get the remake treatment? And I'll go to the panel with this, and I'm actually going to take this one first. See, for me, the one series that it's almost a crime that the gaming world does not have a proper new Ninja Gaiden. And it's one of my favorite OG Xbox games. I beat Ninja Gaiden Black on the hardest level. Yes, I actually did that. And it was a ball-breaking, controller-throwing kind of a situation. I never threw my controllers. I wanted to, but I never did because I didn't want to buy new ones. And again, I understand that the original director no longer, he has his own studio, who he actually was in the news recently saying that he would love to be acquired by Microsoft or to work with them once again. So, of course, my mind starts saying spiritual successor, yes, please. But I think that when you look at who owns it, Team Ninja obviously would be responsible for potentially doing a Ninja Gaiden remake. Or look, my dream is this. One of my all-time wants and loves has always been and will always be Resident Evil 2. And we got a remake that was done in such a spectacular way that I did not expect it to be as good. You as a fan, you're always hoping it's going to be good, and it had completely exploded my expectations on what a proper, built from the ground up reimagining of a game could be. As much as, and probably as easy it would be just do a remake, I would love to see Ninja Gaiden get the Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 remake That's what I'm hoping for. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But I think that if enough people ask for it, Ninja Gaiden Ryu Hayabusa is a character that, again, he deserves a place in gaming. A lot of the games that people love, like Bloodborne and the Souls series and Neo and Sekiro's Shadows Die Twice, all come at their core from Ninja Gaiden, because Ninja Gaiden was that game that broke your balls, and some of the bosses were freaking crazy hard. So I don't know, Slow-Mo, what game hasn't had a remake that you want to see come back in a big way?
I have two.
Okay.
Actually, three.
Oh yeah, please take it away.
Because Philly Eagle brought up one that I've mentioned before on Breakfast with Boom.
Oh yeah, I see it again.
So the one that Philly Eagle just mentioned that I've mentioned before is Rival Schools. I'm not even a big fighting game fan. I can't even tell you the last time I played a fighting game. But Rival Schools, I was in high school. All I played was fighting games. Well, not all I played, but a significant number of games I played were fighting games. And Rival Schools was just so underrated. It was such a great game. I love the whole school atmosphere with the different teams and the themes of those teams, and it was just good. It was a lot of fun. I think it could really revitalize what I think is a kind of basic, boring fighting game scene right now in gaming. I know, like I said, I'm not a big fighting game guy anymore, but I feel like it could use something that's a little different, and that in Rival Schools is definitely that. Another one is a game that I mentioned in the pre-show, Death Row. So Death Row was this original Xbox game that's like the Running Man meets FIFA, where it's like a sport and it takes place in the future. And essentially, if you're a prisoner, if you're in jail, you're forced to like be on this league where essentially you're trying to score on the other team, but at the same time you can just get your ass beat because you can just beat the other team until they can't stand anymore and you'll win. And that game was so much fun. I felt like it was so underrated when it came out. Ubisoft was either the publisher for this game or they own the IP for it. So, I mean, look, they've had some massive changes in leadership recently, and they're trying to be a little bit more unique. Maybe that could be something that could be super unique that they haven't done and doesn't fit that typical Ubisoft format that people are tired of seeing. So, I would love to see that come back. But anytime this question is brought up, what my number one game that I want to see remade, and I'm so mad it hasn't been remade yet because I believe it's one of the greatest games ever, and it's my favorite game ever, Chrono Trigger.
Oh my God, yeah.
I want a remake of Chrono Trigger. I don't mind if they ditch the Akira Toriyama Dragon Ball Z art style. It's fine. Go ahead and ditch that. Make it visually super realistic the way Final Fantasy VII Remake is, but let it be. But unlike Final Fantasy VII Remake, you don't need to change the story because the story's perfect. And yeah, give me that remake. I want to see that with characters that aren't 2D. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, all great picks. You know, Abacaba 72. What about Condemned? Condemned was a freaking great dude. Wow, that's a great. I would love to see Condemned done. I'd like to see it to part 3. To be honest with you, we had Condemned 2. There is a part in Condemned, and if you're a fan of, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That you're in a department store, and it's dark as hell. Got the flashlight going, and you're walking up an escalator, and there's a bunch of mannequins there, right? But there's like 5 of them, and of course, something noise turns. You turn. You look at where the noise is because you're scared as hell. You turn back, and there are like 2 or 3 of the mannequins missing. Yo, that's it. I'm running through the level. I'm running through the level. Goodbye. See you later, Joe. For you, what needs a remake that has not seen the light of gaming day in a while?
Man, one game that comes to mind. It's the one that like remastered anything. Is the original Red Dead in Red Dead 2's engine. I have the most unpopular, but it's the correct opinion. I don't like Red Dead 2. I think it's really overrated. I don't like the story one bit. I think it's just a whole bunch of Western cliches. They don't try to do anything with the medium other than to follow Tombstone. That said,
wow.
yeah, I think it's some of the laziest writing until we get to the the indigenous folks over there. Like that storyline. If that was Red Dead 2, oh my god, that would have been awesome, because like that's actually like something you don't actually see, because you're like, you know, when you think of the West, you think of cowboys or Indians, and like you actually get to see the actual, like, that is one of the fairest depictions of how we mistreated them, and how that plays out. Like, it's so, that storyline's so great. I wish that was the game, but unfortunately we got like Dutch keeping on promising stuff. So I felt
like, okay, maybe of course everyone can feel differently.
Yeah,
I felt Dutch. I really enjoyed Dutch.
Dutch is a great character, all great
awesome.
acting. Yeah,
and I think the layers. I think what I really enjoyed about Red Dead 2, you can ask the criticisms about the story. I think most criticisms I see about Red Dead 2 is the shooting being a bit dated, and that they could have updated that. And plus, it being a bit sluggish with the aiming and stuff. But I think from
the whole horse thing, like.
Oh,
how
yeah.
about you don't focus on horse ball physics, and you focus on me having fun with your game?
Right.
Yeah, that was something. Like, if you gave me more missions where I literally burned the clan alive, that would be fucking cool as hell. That's what I did. That was awesome. Like, the world's really great.
Actually, like just burn the people. Like you run up on someone you got a bounty for, and you burn them in their own fire. It's pretty funny. But I just think
that is hilarious.
I think the story. I thought the story was good, but I think what really sold the game for me was I really enjoyed the characters. I thought the characters had so many layers, and they weren't so one dimensional. They were very compelling, and they kind of kept me interested. The only one I couldn't stand was, of course, you know, the guy that they would allow you to shoot.
Real talk afterwards. This is like, because like I love a good Western, and again, I like. The midpoint where something happens, I literally called, this is what's gonna happen, and it literally every time I was like, this is happening, oh, that's gonna happen. It literally, like 10 minutes later, it happens. I was just like, really? You couldn't just do one flip, like one, like, play with my expectations a little bit differently. But that said, the world's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters are, phenomenal. I love Red Dead 1. It's one of my favorite games ever made. Also, the way they handled Red Dead Online. God, what? Out. Get it out.
That was awful. That was Red Dead Online's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Although,
Red Dead 1.
Probably one of the most epic moments I had in gaming of that year when Red Dead 2 came out is when Dutch and the crew rose up on that house. And it's how they just all spread out across the lawn and just coming up, and you're just like, man, it's about to go down.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Honestly, that's like one of the most memorable right there. And I'm like, man, they could have this game right here. That'd be great. Anyway, so the world's great. The engine's great. I would love that thrown into Red Dead 1 because I miss that game and I miss its online. And I really, 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 really miss that online. And I think Red Dead Online was such a... I hate how they were just like, in the online, we're staying true to this cowboy fiction. Like we're gonna really try to see if Thieves it up a little bit in terms of like giving you the cowboy experience. Because like Red Dead 1 was so great because you had the hub world you could explore. You had like donkeys that were like super fast. It's hilarious. It's fun, stupid, cool. And then you got to have these awesome game modes like Gold Rush in there, and so like you're always doing something. I want that game back. I want it back so freaking badly. So that is literally really the first game that I would want remastered. I'm getting the Diablo 2 remaster remake because I've never played Diablo 2. I just hear how amazing. That's I just hear how amazing that game is. And in terms like here's the thing with me in terms of remasters, the games that I want remastered either coming out like we got Age of Empires, like Warcraft Reforged, maybe we do that thing. But like I'm already getting mine. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much set for life at this point, So really just Red Dead 1.
All right, I
That's
mean,
it. I'm an easy lay.
yeah, no, that's. Listen, you like what you like, and Red Dead 1 was epic, dude. Really well done.
That
Uh,
ending,
ridiculous.
you give me so like every cowboy like thing is supposed to end somewhat tragically. But like again, like they played with your expectations so well. Like you think this is happening, bam, something awful happens. And you're like, is that it? And then you have the oh shit, the redemption. Like, fuck, why could they do that with 2? Why did we just want to make Tombstone the game? To just make it oh god, guys, I'm sorry. I know I probably got the whole chat upset, but like
No, listen, dude,
picture me, a
actually,
huge fan of 1. It's actually, you know what it is? This is what The Last Jedi feels like. You're like, Red Dead 1, there's nothing could go wrong here. Dead 2, let's do it. And then, oh man, now I get why people are so upset.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, you like what you like. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? I do. I want to see because we're kind of moving on to the Battlefield topic. Before I do, I definitely want to see if Big Cloud is back. Big Cloud, are you back, brother? He might have had to step away for some personal reasons. You know what? He's not. So we'll bring him back in during the conversation with Battlefield. But before we get there, got to thank a couple of people. Bounty Boom drops an additional outstanding $5 super chat and says, hit that like button. Great show. Great discussion. I have to go, Boom, but I wanted to ask, where can you get the digital collector's edition for Mass Effect? Yeah, that was actually a wish for us. The collector's edition, if you want the helmet, you have to go directly to BioWare. It's $150. It does not come with the game. It's very unfortunate. There's no, the digital version, because it comes with the collector's tin or the I'm gonna probably buy the physical version of Mass Effect so I can put it in the box. And the steelbook. So I mean, yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't come with the game. It is $150. Really, what you're paying for is the helmet, and it's Mass Effect. So yeah, they're definitely going to get my money for sure. The digital one, I suppose, if you didn't want to buy the physical copy, you can get that pretty much anywhere, the digital edition. But I definitely want to move on to Battlefields. Oh no, wait, we got another super chat that came in. Hold on, it's from Bay Area. Drops a very generous $5 super chat. Bay Area, welcome to the program there, dude. It says Tecmo and Sega for the win. We need a Rygar. Dude, you are definitely an OG. Yes, Rygar was so good. A Rygar remake along with the lines of God of War 20 oh yes. Oh my god, dude. A God of War-esque Rygar would be freaking crazy. And Shinobi remake along with the lines of Ninja Gaiden Black. Yeah, Shinobi is another one, man. That poor Shinobi is just, no one talks about him anymore. That's another IP. As a classic Sega IP that, if given to the correct developer, could be brought back in such a big way. And you know what? Who knows if that Sega acquisition from Microsoft is around the corner or not? Who knows? And bringing back Shinobi would be, let the coalition do a Shinobi game. I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to move on to, of course, the last topic of the show, and we're going to be talking some Battlefield 6. Now, obviously, Battlefield is listen, look, it depending on where you fall on the side of gaming, the last 2 Battlefields they didn't hit for a lot of people. I played through Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5. I got it in the vault, dude. I didn't even buy it. Like, I just was like, yeah, we've done this World War II thing so many times, and World War I was, yikes, when are we getting back to Battlefield 4? You know what I'm saying? When modern warfare. Well, it turns out, folks, that not only did EA hear it, but DICE heard it. And according to EA, Battlefield 6 will be revealed this spring. And it is expected to release likely for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC this fall. And as you would expect, during the earnings call, EA briefly teased that Battlefield 6 to its investors. Unfortunately, though, it didn't have much to say, but it did promise those listening that the game would be properly revealed sometime this spring, which means sometime between March and May. Now, in addition to this, EA also teased that the game will take full advantage of the PS5 and Series X and Series S and their next generation power, not just better graphics and performance, but new features. And to this end, EA teases that the game will be massive in size when you're talking about like big team-esque battles. According to the report, they're saying that it's going to be the most players they've ever had on screen at any one time on any Battlefield. That is pretty good. Now, lastly, EA briefly threw out some market speak, teasing it was going to be the return to full-out military warfare, new levels of immersion, and taking things to the next level. Now, of course, yes, that is such... I don't think you can get any... Joe, we're going to go to you first on this. That's market speak 101. But obviously, they're not going to anywhere but modern warfare. I mean, it's a clear indication that we're going to get a new story with new characters in modern times. And I say it's about time. For you, based on what we've heard, and we haven't heard anything, the big reveal is coming. I don't think it's going to be in March. I'm thinking more April for me personally. But EA does make these big spectacles, especially on their big AAA franchises. And it's no bigger than Battlefield. Battlefield 6 is hopefully a return to what we loved about Battlefield 4. What are your thoughts on this, dude?
Battlefield 3 is the best Battlefield. And
I mean, listen, I hear you. A lot of people say that. Yeah.
It's a fact. If anybody wanted to say different, I say come to my office. It's detention time. No, seriously, I'm really pumped for Battlefield. I want to return to it. I feel like the same, Battlefield. I feel like they took some of the vignettes from Battlefield 1 and 2. They can make something really cool here. I like those little mini stories. And not to say make it about a fake war, but like I'm really tired of like the US v Russia stuff. Like it's so tiresome.
It's a little long in the tooth. I agree. Sure.
Yeah, and they're not going to do like US v China because like they want to sell things in China. So so it's just like I wonder where they're taking that game. Like what the story is going to be about. In the large scale maps, so for me, are we focusing on how many people are we going to have on a map? Like, was it 123 was like the weird number they threw out? That's cool. But is that a mag situation? Remember mag? Not very good.
Oh yeah.
So how much is too much? Is there going to be destructibility aspects? Because I loved how they introduced it in 4 where it changed the whole map, and then all of a sudden it just became this silly gimmick. But I want to know where they take it that way more than anything. Is how are they going to balance that multiplayer with 100+ people in a map? That's going to be the crazy thing for me. I'm just excited. I'm going to get Battlefield again. Battlefield, when it was like the Call of Duty versus Battlefield thing for 3 and 4, I was on Team Battlefield, man. I was like, this game can't do no wrong. I want to see how this game.
I would choose Battlefield over Call of Duty anytime, especially when I mean, I remember playing Battlefield. I mean, we're going back a while on the OG Xbox for hours upon hours. Battlefield 2, I loved everything about it. Loved it, and I hope that they return to that kind of greatness.
I hope so too. I want to see also they're talking about this game is a Xbox Series and PS5 exclusive. That's
I
awesome
actually
because
kind
now,
of hope so. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that
yeah,
sounds selfish. I know that
yeah,
sounds selfish, but here's the thing, folks. We're coming into a time where our games being held back, and the answer is it possibly, but we also from a person who has an Xbox Series X, S, and PS5, I can say that. But if you are someone who haven't been able to get one, what I'm saying is selfish and unfair because yes, Battlefield 5 is what a lot of people are waiting for, Joe.
yep.
And the question is, are there enough PS5s, Xbox Series S and S's out there for them to only make it? I don't think so.
And so that's so I think there will be. So like by this time, like we take a look, we can only right now predict PlayStation's numbers of like we're assuming 4 million consoles sold in 2 months. We're assuming they're gonna hit the 11 million that they wanted to hit in March. If the production gets better for both of these companies, but other than like the semiconductors on the PlayStation and the AMD chips for both ends. If they get those things solved by June, yeah, you can have a very good argument that what you could say is the base is so hungry for a thing, like for people that bought a PS5. So we're going back to the Returnal topic. For a person that bought a PlayStation 5, you want an excuse to play a PlayStation 5 game.
Yeah.
You're hungry for that experience. Just like with Xbox folks, right? You're hungry for that IP. That IP was the medium, and you all are digging it right now. I think the only thing Battlefield has to worry about is Halo. Other than that, for people that aren't into that sci-fi thing, their only competition then is Call of Duty. My question and my the thing that I'm pondering about is for people that like have Halo, they're probably still going to probably buy Battlefield. If you're a shooter guy and you're playing it on Game Pass and it's free to play, you could be switching back and forth from your game. So like, I think EA is looking at where their competition is, how competitive the holiday season's going to be, and I think with 2021, we're seeing it's a slow year because of the pandemic. So if they could get ahead of that and go, hey, look at how awesome this thing looks on next gen, you're going to have people that are going to be picking it up on that day alongside the big holiday rush, alongside the months to come. If they nail it right, they have, people coming to this series. So as long as it has crossplay enabled between PS5 and Xbox,
There'll be enough people on the service. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. I think like even Battlefield 4, I remember that being one of the highest sellers for the PlayStation 4. Why? Not a lot, even with the Killzone Shadowfall, right? Like that IP, hell no, it ain't strong enough than Battlefield. So I don't think this game has anything to worry about of finding that audience. I think the problem with this one is how is it going to address the problems from the past and prove to people that it's fixed those things. For me, I'm excited to see the tech, the next gen tech is, you're right, Boom. I think this, this tech is held back by previous, there's a hindrance there. Like as much as I love Horizon, Forbidden West, or excited for it. Sorry, I'm excited for that game. I know it's going to be held back by the 4, but how held back is it going to be? Is the
great question.
With this one, because it's made only for next gen, the targets that they have to hit. So they know that they want ray tracing in here. They know that they probably want 60 frames. They probably want to aim for 4K. That they want to hit no loading when you don't need to. And how level design changes because of all those things. So like you're going to get probably the truest next gen feeling thing. My last question would be, who gets to promote this game? Who has the marketing rights? Is it Xbox, probably?
More than likely it's good because obviously Call of Duty is with PlayStation. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be with Xbox.
Because the only question I have then is, I mean, it's not like, oh my god, this is good. One thing's going to take the other. It's just like, oh yeah, you also have Halo. So maybe it's more diversity between their portfolio in a way of like, we got the sci-fi shooty thingy, we got the modern shooty thingy. I don't know, but that's pretty much its only real concern. I really think is Halo, if for the Xbox side, but even then, I think you can mitigate.
Well, Halo's coming November 15th. So either we're
also depends on when this game comes out.
Yeah, that's true. I would love to see this come out early October.
October 4th, like my birthday.
Oh, maybe interesting. Yeah,
I noticed birthday October 4th.
It would be interesting to drop early October to give not only to give itself space to breathe. But obviously, do you, as good as this game could be, do you want to launch up against a Halo and a Call of Duty, which is both notorious for November releases? Probably not.
Honestly, probably not. I think the one thing if I'm Battlefield, I'm way less concerned about Halo than I am Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty's gonna eat my lunch. In terms of like Halo, I mean, we've seen Halo when it came out between two shooters with Halo 4, didn't particularly do well. So I think if you're Battlefield, you're not worried about that. You're worried about the juggernaut, which is Call of Duty. But when you do hear that more AAA companies want to do the Call of Duty Warzone approach, where maybe Battlefield has a battle royale mode that's for free. I know they had one with Firestorm, but like them having one for free to kind of promote this game or promote this platform that's going to be Battlefield, that's another thing to kind of look into as well.
Yeah, all great points, Joe. As always, definitely great points. Slow-mo, are you back?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, let's get your opinion on Battlefield 6. It appears that it's returning to modern times. We've all been asking for that. Where do you stand on Battlefield 6 as opposed to Call of Duty? Is it a franchise that you enjoy? Are you excited for them to return to the modern era? But more importantly, like Joe and I were going back and forth on it, does this stay exclusive to PlayStation 5? Well, next generation consoles, do they leave out all of the audience of that continues to play on their PS4s and Xbox Ones, to their own device?
As far as Battlefield, I've never been a big fan of Battlefield, but I am very interested in the development of this game because I know it's using what is the latest version of Frostbite engine, which if anyone knows me, I've had some choice words about Frostbite engine in the past, as far as it being one of the worst engines.
It ain't great.
But I do think that I like some of the things I've seen with like hair physics and some of the built-in tools they have developed within it for the next version. And I think it's just with no actual information, but just my theory that EA is going to have the next Battlefield be like the showcase for Frostbite. And the new version of Frostbite, and I think it probably will look very, very good. Maybe potentially, actually pretty amazing. So I am interested in seeing that. When it comes to, I think it's about time because Battlefield's been gone for a while, and I remember it used to always go head up with Call of Duty. And Call of Duty's been trucking along, and Battlefield hasn't, which is, it doesn't surprise me considering DICE is, I think, 2 studios are comprised of all of DICE, whereas Activision had upwards of 3 studios rotating annual Call of Duty releases. So there's just no way you can keep up with that kind of scheduling. I do like that they're going to modern times because I agree with you guys. Like, I'm sick and tired of the World War II or the older times theme. Just let's get current a little bit here. So I think going back to that's good. And yeah, I'm just really interested in how it's going to turn out. I think you said is it going to be exclusive? I don't think that would be the case with, especially with EA.
Oh, no, like exclusive marketing rights.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Xbox.
I think because it's EA, it's probably going to be Xbox.
Yeah. And right now they have a good relationship with EA, and I think that it's going to they're going to want to showcase it on the Xbox Series X. Maybe during this event we'll actually see gameplay running on a Series X. That would be pretty impressive. I'd very much be into that, and we could see exactly what the game looks like running on a Series X. And you know what? Hopefully, their marketing geniuses over there hear what I'm saying and take me up on my advice. Because again, we know that on the PC it's going to look incredible because you're going to be able to uncap everything. So I mean, probably the most place it could potentially be played is on console. So I'm hoping that they do in fact, show gameplay on something. Again, I would like to believe that Microsoft is going to have the marketing rights. It only seems right considering that, and it would be smart for them. That considering that Call of Duty is in PlayStation's camp, it would be almost preposterous to think that Microsoft would allow them to take the two biggest first-person shooters and have it under the PlayStation, the PlayStation banner. It would be quite silly. But listen, folks, we're at the 2-hour mark, and this has been a great show. I want to thank. We had almost 300 people here today, and obviously, in the past we've had upwards of 500, 600, 700 people here in Breakfast with Boom. And I hope that you are enjoying the program, that you will come back next week. Of course, we're going to be talking about all of the hottest gaming news that happens next week. Let's get out to the outros, and we'll start with our special guest, Slow-Mo. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. Touched on a lot of the subjects that you happen to be fans of, which is awesome. And I thought we had a great banter, especially we went into some deep, thought about Returnal and Destruction All Stars and what's that's going to happen. And the Mass Effect topic was awesome, as well as bringing up some of the classic titles. The chat was on fire with that. Tell everyone about where can people check out your new podcast with, of course, our brother, Gaming Forte, and more importantly, where else could they check you out? And more importantly than even that is where could they subscribe to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, hey, boom. As always, I appreciate the invite. Love rocking out with you guys, with Bad Bit, with Big Cloud for the 5 minutes he was here before he went searching for a Mass Effect helmet. And but yeah, you guys can check me out on my YouTube channel, which is Slow-Mo Backslap, just like the name is, and I do weekly video, not more than weekly. I do probably about 2 or 3 videos a week about the games that I care about, regardless of platform. I got DPS podcast with my homie Gaming Forte. We had our last show last night on his channel. Next week's show will be on my channel. We rotate back and forth. So also subscribe to his channel if you haven't. Subscribe to mine so you can check out our show. It's just, a 2-man thing, and we argue a good 75% of the time, and that's why 25% is just us just really going deep in on pause on the games that we enjoy. So yeah, check that out. You can also check me out tomorrow on Scumcast, 4 p.m. Eastern, on the Ash and Lucas channel. Legion of Scum in the house, of course, and also Basement Radio Arcade Podcast with Enrique and the whole crew on Wednesdays. So yeah, again, thanks for the invite. You guys have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. And Joe, why don't you tell everyone about the trophy room, what you got going on, and more importantly, where can people reach out and strike up a conversation?
Of course, you can find me always on Twitter at Mr. Badbit, trolling Luke Lore, which I'm about to right now until I saw an ugly shield bug. Ugh, I'm a monitor, and I had to whack it with my remote control, and then I turned on my TV by accident. But you can find me, Mr. Badbit, on Twitter. You can find the Trophy Room on Twitter as well at PS Trophy Room, all one word. You can find the video version of my podcast and soon a whole bunch of YouTube content over on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. And you can find the podcast wherever you find your podcast services, whether that's Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find a podcast feed, you can find the show there. Rate us 5 stars. Really does help us out, helps us grow, and maybe you get a chance to win the next gen game. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Well, thanks for the chance, and of course, I love seeing what you guys are doing over at the trophy room. And I believe BitCloud is still not here. Again, I apologize for him stepping away. Something important.
I'm killing this thing right now on screen.
There you go. Listen, folks. Anyway, before you get on out of here, we have 100 likes for the show. We had almost 300 people here. If you're enjoying it, come on, man, hit the like button. I'm not going to charge you $5 every time you hit the button. It's free. It doesn't hurt. It's painless, and it does help.
I can't find it, y'all.
Oh, okay.
So I just put a napkin over it.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come back and bite you.
Sorry.
Listen, folks, thank you so much for coming and hanging out on this Friday, glorious Friday here in New Rochelle. I mean, I think we did have some rain. We're going to get some snow over the weekend. I think next week is going to be very snowy for the East Coast, which is right up my alley because I like the snow. But if my brother is listening, he's probably giving me the finger. Neo Mental hates snow because he owns a house now and he has to shovel it, so he hates me. But listen, folks, thank you so much for hanging out. Again, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button, share this on social media, and of course, tell people about Double Barrel Gaming, 4 live shows weekly, and of course now video content on top of that. This week we had 6 pieces of content, 4 live shows and 2 videos that went up, and that is a lot of work, and I'm quite enjoying it, and I hope that you are as well. And I'll close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, and that's what my father told me when we were kids, and I think now more than ever it's super, super relevant, but more importantly, super important. And he used to say, son, treat others how you want to be treated. Also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy playing games on whatever console you enjoy. And we'll see you next Friday morning on the newest episode of Breakfast Boom.